Here's something that I had struggled with when I first was released from Satan's kingdom. When I first made this channel, I wasn't really sure how would I be able to do it. How would I be able to forgive and move on? It was really hard for me in the beginning, extremely hard, because I made this channel because of what happened to me and the unfairness of what I went through. That my freedom was taken away from me for something I didn't do. But the funny thing is that a lot of our ancestors have died, had an unforgiving heart, and had a hardened heart, which these are things that grant you the access to the kingdom in heaven. And like I say in the end of my videos, love each other like you love yourself, but also learn to forgive and let live and let go. This is one of the key elements of getting into the kingdom, because there are many people who have died and have not had a chance to forgive, that will not make it into the kingdom. Just imagine how many people die with resentment, hatred, unforgiveness, hardened hearts. Just imagine how many people has died. Just imagine how many disturbed spirits are among us. How many hatred spirits that are among us. Nephilim type spirits that are among us. I didn't know how I was going to forgive for what happened to me, what I was put through, the things I had to see, the things I had to bear witness to, people doing blood sacrifices, people that were plotting to unalive me while I was in Satan's kingdom, because I was a marked person. It was fight or flight. It was stand in your truth. It was me standing in my power, me standing in what I believe in firmly and standing on it. Because if I didn't have the great I am, the creator of all things, with me, no telling what would have happened. A lot of bad things would have went on, But if the great I am hadn't shown itself to me through my drawings, I wouldn't have not ever known that it was there, but it was there. It let me know that it was there for me. It let me know so much that it pulled me out of Sodom and Gomorrah. All those people that plotted and planned to end me in Satan's kingdom, even so much to cause bodily harm or death. And to deal with that and then come out unharmed, and then deal with the frustration of what I've been through, making this channel and not knowing when I was in there that I was going to make it or not, whether I was going to make it out alive or not. Because truth be told, there was a bounty on my head. I couldn't say that I didn't sleep with one eye open and one eye closed. But I slept with both eyes closed and not one eye open, because the great I Am was covering me. The Creator of all things would cover me, shielded me, had me in its hammock, covered me with its blanket, covered me with its shield of energy. But this one thing we call forgiveness. If you do not learn how to do these things, you will not make it to the kingdom. Those that have not forgiven, they're hardened hearts. So these spirits are angry. That's why so much anger is running rampant on the world right now today. But it's not just because of that, it's because of the Nephilim. These angered spirits that dwell among the unseen, causing chaos among the living. And if you don't know how to forgive, you will be one of those that when you do pass, or if you pass, or if you're lucky enough to be one of the chosen that will be harpanzoed, snatching away, raptured, because there are a few that will not taste death. This word we call forgiveness. You cannot make it into the kingdom if you don't know how to forgive, because unforgiveness is anger, resentment, you can't have a house of unblemished skin if you have one mole in that, on that blemished skin. They say one apple will spoil a bunch. So not one single solitary being that will enter the kingdom will not have been a forgiver. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how I was going to be able to forgive for what happened to me, what I was put through, the black magic, the voodoo doll, the jar spells, the graveyard magic, the suicide magic, the water magic, the sex magic, the death magic, the animal sacrifice magic, the necromancy magic, even to the point of someone seeking a voodoo priest come after me. And I know it to be true because this is how the great I am speaks to me, through communication, through YouTube, through videos. I knew nothing about the card readers on YouTube when I first got out. 2 months have passed. I had my phone. I didn't receive anything to do with card readers until one day. And when I heard Voodoo Doll, I knew it was true, because in the etheric world, there was a woman that had a pair of clippers that cut my hair from the back. And I snatched the clippers from her, wouldn't give them back to her. The next thing you know, that morning when I wake up, I take all the rubber bands out of my hair, and the very last rubber band I took out had a wad of hair in it. I'm in Satan's kingdom, and I see in my dream a woman have a child that the legs are stuck in a seated position. This child opened up my mouth extremely wide, and a greenish blue hue was coming from my mouth. So I put my hand up over this child's head, and I started to pull the spirit up out of the child. About as much as the spirit I got out of the child was the head. And I was able to see that it was a melanated person, blind, with white markings on the face. I knew this to be someone from Africa. I knew this to be a voodoo priest. So when the Holy Spirit sent me, when the great I am sent me the YouTube videos after 2 months of having my phone, and I see someone said that they went to Nigeria, they went to Africa to seek a voodoo priest, I knew it was true. Jar spells, I know it was true. Graveyard magic, I know it was true. Sex magic, I know it was true. I knew all of these things were true. Once I saw it, I knew it. Once I heard about the candle magic, I knew it. When I heard about the suicide magic, I knew it. But I forgive the person that put me there. Put me in that vulnerable situation. Put me in that fight or flight situation. Put me in that situation that I didn't know whether I was going to make it out alive. But I knew that this person, one of the persons that have access to someone that is inside of Satan's kingdom, as they would call it, a shot caller. Yeah. Because a bounty was put on my head. But the great I am had plans. The creator of all things had plans other than what their plans were. But I forgive them. I have to. What I went through was supposed to happen. What I experienced was supposed to happen. My journey back here to Texas was supposed to happen. These things were supposed to happen. Me going to Satan's kingdom, that was supposed to happen. It was by design. It was by design for me to know who I am and to learn of who I am, and then receive solid concrete of who I am once I got out and really started seeing exactly how it transpired. See the exact puzzle being put together, seeing how it all lines up. The first thing is learning to forgive my mother. And then, once I did that, Sorry about that. Once I learned how to forgive my mother, then I felt this very enormous, strong power on my right hand. 2 days in a row during meditation. The first day when I learned how to forgive my mother, on that day is the day I felt the power of the great I am on my right hand. The very next day during meditation, the same thing happened again. So much so that it was painful. The second step, coming back to Texas and seeing in my vision during meditation 4 pillars of light going up into the heavens. These were massive pillars, kind of light baby blue pillars going up into the heavens. Well, these 4 pillars are really called, these pillars are the angels, the 4 angels that stand upon the corner of the earth. I'm going to read something to you. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the winds should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on the trees. Now, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried out with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to harm the earth and the sea, saying, harm not the earth, neither the sea, neither the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. So why do I read that? Reason why is because, and I will tell you this right now, everything I speak, take it to the Holy Spirit. Take it to the Creator of all things. Take it to whoever you want to take it to. Take it to Yahshua HaMashiach. Take it to whomever you wish to. That seal was given to me. Those 4 pillars of light was the 4 angels that stand upon the 4 corners of the earth. Me being in Satan's kingdom, were the doors where people go to and fro, was enough to go around and around and around and around and around and around for 2.5 years for me to seal the 12 tribes. Soon after this, that's when the Great Freeze hit the entire United States. There was a shaking in between (2 a.m. and 3 a.m. There was a shaking on the earth. Just before that freeze hit, no one knew it was coming, but that pale white horse came. That pale white horse came through. Then that second pale white horse came through. When COVID hit, and it hit everywhere, it hit within 3 weeks, it hit the entire world. Almost. But this was by design. This was by design for me to be put where I was put. So because of this, I was moved away from danger. I was taken away from where I was supposed to be and put on a path that I was supposed to be, but taken from what was not meaning me any good, but also taking on these other people's demonic activities, the other people's demonic beings that are with them by association. So but since these things has happened, I learned a lot. I learned even more when I got out of Satan's kingdom. Because this is when I learned about the witchcraft. This is when I learned about all the things that were happening unbeknownst to me. But the creator of all things, the great I am, sees everything. There's nothing you can do in the dark. Nothing. The moon has no light, it has no power. The only thing the moon is a mirror. It reflects the sunlight, so the sun doesn't ever go down. It sees everything. But that's not what this video is about. It's about learning how to forgive, but also how I learn how to forgive and what you must do to get into the kingdom, and that's forgive. If you hold on to resentment, if you hold on to hate, if you hold on to animosity, if you hold on to your pride, it brings a hardened heart. It brings a hardened heart. And that's one thing we must do, is not let these things detour us from forgiving. Imagine how many ancestors you have that have not forgiven. Just imagine you're the only one. And you're breaking that generational curse by forgiving. You're breaking that generational curse by letting things go. You're breaking that generational curse by loving everyone as if it was yourself. Just imagine your ancestors are happy, rejoicing, not flipping around in their grave because you haven't learned your lesson, or you are the last to do this because they all have failed. But then they all put their faith in you to do exactly what is right, and that's to forgive. Not putting yourself in contracts that are going to cost you anguish, you know, or continue the curse in your bloodline. So the thing is forgiveness. Because if you can't forgive, how do you expect to get in the kingdom? How do you expect to get in the holy house? Because unforgiveness brings anger. That's not what, this is the most crucial thing. The most crucial thing. Because when you don't forgive, you have a hardened heart. And I know one person in particular that doesn't know how to forgive and have a hardened heart. They live in the past. They live of things that happened in the past instead of moving with the present. Drowning in sorrow, drowning in misery. And misery loves company. Always trying to take someone down with them just to hear and listen to their sob stories. And I mean, taking on that energy is not easy. It's very hard. Because that sometimes you begin to lose yourself. Because they have demons too. At least the one I know has demons constantly. Because of unrestness, unsettledness. When a person is unrested, their spirit is unrested. And they're constantly fighting and biting. Constantly bickering. Constantly everything is a problem, or you cannot do anything without them saying something or intervening or saying whatever they want to say. It's because they have an unrest spirit. And they have so much animosity and so much hatred in their heart. They have so much, their heart is hardened, and so much pride that they do not know how to let go. These will not make it into the kingdom. People like that will not make it into the kingdom. If you have any hatred in your heart, if you have any unforgiveness in your heart, you have to let it go before it's too late. Because if you hear when the snatching away happens, and you're not taken, and you know why. Because you hadn't done what you were supposed to do. And that's clean out your closet. That's what I mean by clean out your closet. Most people are not specific on what they mean by clean out your closet. Clean out your closet means fornication, all these sinful things. You know? Indulging in activities that you shouldn't be indulging into. You know, taking contracts, you know, knowingly and unknowingly. You know, when you go to an event and there's food, that's taking in a contract. That's taking in an oath. I soon understood and overstood what was being spoken when I heard that when you go to these different events and they have food and you take this food in, it's like saying, take this wine, it is of my blood. Take this bread, it is of my flesh. That is taking in an oath. That is taking in a covenant, if you will, or it's taking in an agreement. which could cost you. You go to an event, you have to be very leery about when there's food out. You have to be leery about that. Because now I am very leery about it and watching. Because when there are people offering food, you don't know what they're speaking over it. That's the thing. Witchcraft come in all forms. Doesn't necessarily have to do with candles. Doesn't necessarily have to do with sacrificing animals or blood sacrifices or things like that. It's speaking, thinking. Or doing things in a certain order. So I learned a lot once I got out of Satan's kingdom. A lot. Which I didn't know before I went in there, because I was a baby in a spiritual community. It was like taking candy from a baby, because that's just how new I was to it. Not knowing that all these people have attachments to them, not knowing that all these people carry spirits with them that are unwanted, not knowing that they have leeches and legions of demonic entities that are in and around them. Not knowing that these entities are speaking with them. You have to be careful. You have to be careful in who you entertain. But this main topic of the situation, like I said, is forgiveness. And I really didn't know how I was going to do it, but I forgave. I really didn't know how I was going to do it. I mean, if you would have talked to me 3 years ago, 4 years now, you couldn't tell me. You couldn't tell me to forgive. Forgive this person for what they did to you. You couldn't tell me. Because my thought was, somebody put you through that much anguish. Have you fighting for your life? Not knowing where you were going to live or die the next day. Be unalived. Yeah. I don't know how you could have told me that you need to forgive. Because it took its time. It had to take its time. And then two, when you don't forgive, whatever's attached to that person will be attached to you. I'm going to say that again. Whatever that is attached to that person will be attached to you. When you do not know how to forgive them and let things go. I forgive because it's the right thing to do. I forgive because possibly a lot of my relatives didn't. Those that have not forgiven, there are a lot of angry spirits. A lot of angry spirits. I know it's not easy. But once you learn how to let things go, you will see. The creator of all things, the great I am, will come into your life. You will see and hear and experience the same things I've experienced, but you will experience them with me. I'm going to leave this here till the next time the creator of all things, the great I am, speaks to me. I would say pick up your trees. Keep oil in your lamps. Watch things that promote happiness, not sadness. Something that I haven't spoke about. My mom just died Sunday, and I sat here and I was feeling bad, palpitations with my heart, anxiety. I didn't know why I was feeling it. But 30 minutes later, my cousin called me and told me my mother died. It has not hit me yet. Will I cry about it? Maybe. Maybe not. Because I know now she doesn't have to sit and suffer in this world. She gets to move on. But the thing about it is that, like I said, I learned to forgive her for what happened. But the one thing I didn't get to ask her is, did she see me in her dreams? Because there's one dream in particular when I was in Satan's kingdom. I can hear her voice and I can hear her say, "Forgive me, Lord." And as she walked by, she gave me this really strange look. This has been my time. Learn to love each other like you love yourself. Learn to forgive and let live and let go. For this is your salvation. For if you do not do these things, you will not make it on that ark. Forgiveness is the key. Thank you for listening. The One Out. I'm really hoping you guys are able to hear this video. I really hope so.